Welcome back. We are also on another session. Again, we are going to try and answer another question paper which was recently written at the Senior Certificate and National Senior Certificate combined, May-June 2024. Now let's go through the paper and see whether we can do justice to the multiple choice questions, and to enlighten anyone who is very interested in the learning of physical sciences. Now let's start with the first question. According to this one, they say to us 1.1, the functional group of an aldehyde is the functional group of an aldehyde, it's for male. We have got only 4 functional groups in this case. Sorry for that. Yeah, we have got 4 functional groups that need to be known. One of them is your hydroxyl from alcohols, this, and then another one is your carboxyl from carboxylic acid, and the other one is your carbonyl from ketones, and then the last one is your formyl in aldehyde, formyl, carbonyl, and then this one is carboxyl, and this one is called hydroxyl. You need to know these 4 because they might come in an exam. Now in this case, now they wanted the aldehyde, which will be formyl. So formyl is 1.1, so it's 1.1a, then it will be, answer will be A. Quick. And then the next one, which one of the following equation represent the reaction for the identification of unsaturated organic compound in the laboratory? In the laboratory, we use a bromine solution to identify whether the compound is alkane or alkene. Remember, alkane, they undergo substitution, meaning that they can hardly react, whereas the ones that are reactive will be the alkene, which will undergo addition reaction. So we are looking for addition reaction in this, which involve bromine, which will be between C and D. But in C, that's the correct one, whereas D, you can see now there was a substitution because there's a HBr. So one bromine replace one hydrogen there. So the best one would be number C. Which one of the following empirical is the empirical formula for ethyl ethanoate? If we know ethyl ethanoate is the ester with 2 carbon atoms, then it will be this. If you are checking for empirical, is the smallest ratio. So all these are divisible by 2, and that it will be CH2O. Then you are looking for that answer in this one, which is your CH2, ethyl ethanoate. So it should be C4H8O2. Then it will be C2H4O, which is 1.8. A will be the best one. So 1.3 is A. We go to the next question in the next page, 1.4. 1.4, let's check. In 1.4, yeah, very interesting question that needs a lot of thinking, but let's go through it. In an experiment, 5 grams of calcium carbonate reacts with excess hydrochloric acid at a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. The volume of carbon dioxide produced versus time is shown by curve P in the graph below. Now the experiment is repeated with 10 grams. So we're increasing the volume of the solid. I mean, that will obviously result in the doubling of the amount. So, but the conditions remain the same. An excess hydrochloric acid is still used with the same concentration and at 40 degrees Celsius. So the rate is the same. Therefore, which one of the following curves will now be obtained? We are taking P as the this one. The point of departure is the initial. Then now after we move to 10 grams, then remember must double. If this one is 40, then we must increase now to 80. It will be one of the two. But what's the difference between these two? It will be now number 3 is happening at the slower rate. Can you see now where now the graph reaches the flat area? It will be now between P and number 4. Therefore, mean that the correct answer will be number 4, which is D. What is 1.4? D. Thank you. 1.4 D. Thank you. Then 1.5, in this case, you can see they say to us the balance equation below represent the reaction at equilibrium. No problem. It's about Le Chatelier solutions. Which statement is true when few drops of concentrated hydrochloric acid are added? Remember, when you add hydrochloric acid, obviously we are increasing the concentration of what? Chlorine ions or hydrogen ions, or hydronium ions. No problem. You can see we have got hydronium ions here. We don't have chlorine ions. Therefore, the only part that will be affected will be the hydronium ions. Once this concentration increases, Le Chatelier comes in to say the reaction that will favor the reduction of that increased concentration is favored, meaning that the forward direction will be favored. Now, reverse direction is favored. No. Concentration of CR2O2 increase. Yes, CR2O7 will increase because it's the product, because we say forward direction is favored. The color of the solution changes from yellow to orange. Perfect. Yes, forward direction is favored. That will be the case, meaning that the correct answers will be number 2 and number 3. Then the best answer will be the last one, which is D. 1.5 is D. Fine. 1.6. Consider the equation below for a hypothetical reaction. That's the case. Fine. This is the hypothetical reaction. And now in the equilibrium, if the equilibrium constant is 1 by, if you look at this one, it's 1 by 10 to exponent minus 4, meaning that the Kc is very low. So now low Kc value, remember we are favoring the production of the reactants. Therefore, the concentration of the reactants will increase, whereas the concentration of the products decreases. So fine. Then if you look at this one, obviously it's the same as like 1 over 10 to exponent 4, meaning that we have got high concentration of the reactants and products. So concentration of the reactants, which is this one, will be greater than both of the C and D. We are looking for that one. A is bigger than C and D, which is number C. C will be the best bet in this case. 1.7, they're telling us to say which one, let me just show you clearly, which one of the following shows the products for the reaction of oxalic acid with sodium hydroxide. Oxalic acid with sodium, remember it will obviously form sodium oxalate and water. The reaction of an acid and a base, you know that one, it will be sodium oxalate and water, salt and water. You can see one is out, it's not a carbonate, and then therefore sodium oxalate number 2 is the perfect one. The rest are out because this one involves now ethanoic acid, it's no longer oxalic acid. So B will be the perfect one. In this case, number 7B. Now moving to the last 3 questions in this very good question paper so far. 4 solutions of different acids of the same concentration are compared. Which one of the following Ka value represent the weakest acid at 25 degrees Celsius? Remember, the weakest acid will have now the lowest Ka value. That's the case. That's what you should know before even looking at the answers. The weakest acid will have the lowest Ka value. If you look at these values now, which one is the lowest here? Then you will see that now the lowest, because this is 10 to exponent minus 6, obviously that's the best one. And 1.8 will be number A. Fine. We come to 1.9. Let's start with the statement. Copper is purified by electrolysis. Yes, which one of the following combination is correct for the changes occurring at the anode? Remember, the anode in the electrolysis is where reduction takes place. Cathode is where oxidation takes place, and the electrolyte when the cell is in operation. Remember, in this case, in the purification of copper, so the concentration of the electrolyte remains the same. So that's what you should know before even looking at the options here. So the concentration of the electrolyte, copper sulfate, will remain the same, but the mass of the anode will decrease and the mass of the cathode increase. So if we look at this one, mass of the anode has to decrease. The answer will be between B and D. And then the mass of the cathode will increase, meaning that now also the two are still concurring. Now, I mean that the eliminator will be number last one. The color of the electrolyte remains the same. Therefore, B is the best bet. The concentration of the electrolyte remains the same because the rate of oxidation at the anode equals to the rate of reduction at the cathode. That's what you should know. That's the reason. In this one, 1.10, they say which one of the following redox reaction is spontaneous under standard conditions? Fine. Under standard conditions now, which one is spontaneous? In this case, we're going to use the electrode potential table. Obviously, if you use that electrode potential table, you look at the one between the two, which one must be oxidized. We know chlorine is the strongest oxidizing agent, therefore it will be reduced. This won't happen. The best one would be number B. So whereby now ion, yes, when reacting with this, we will find that now the electrode potential of ion 3 and this one is the small. This one is reduced. This one must be bigger than the iodine ion. Just to check on this one, just to clarify, to verify the answer, we go to this one and say let's check ion 3 to 2, ion 3 to 2, ion 3 to 2, ion 3 to 2. It's here. You can see now it's having the biggest electrode potential. Iodine must be above it. Yes, you see. Therefore, iodine now will undergo oxidation, reverse reaction, and then this one will undergo forward reaction. So that is the perfect one. Therefore, the answer for the last question in this question paper will be B. 10B will be the best one. Otherwise, with these ones, they are not going to happen. So copper cannot be oxidized by lead, so it's not going to happen. That one's not spontaneous. So thanks a lot. I hope it's very clear now on answering multiple choice. You need to have at least basic information to answer multiple choice. Otherwise, it will be difficult in this case. Otherwise, it will be difficult to go through all the questions. If you know the basics, apply those basics, and then multiple choice becomes very easy to answer. Hopefully, we'll continue with question number 2 onwards. Let's pause for now. Thank you.